Welcome to Young Asia Television.
Presented by the National Science Foundation of Sri Lanka.
Science and its advancements have helped humanity progress rapidly. But we must remember to use science with caution as it has a big influence on our lives. We must take care and not let modern conveniences inconvenience us in any way. On this program, we take a look at one advancement in science and how it's useful to us. Stay tuned.
පැහැයෙන් හැඩවූ එකමලුවක් ඇත්තේ ගහකොළ මල් සුසැදී පනනල ඇත සුරැකී ජීවිතයේ විදුනන අත්තරගත යුත්තේ අවනි පැයුම් බිහිවිය යුත්තේ සොබාදහම් සුරැකිය යුත්තේ අප සම නිරෝගී ජීවිතයේ මේ සියලු රහස් ගැන දැනුවත් විය යුත්තේ විද්‍යාවෙන් තේරුම්ගෙන ලෝකය ජීවත් විය යුත්තේ
මේ මඩ
Energy is a fundamental part of our universe. We use energy for a variety of purposes, whether it is to lighten up our cities, to power our vehicles, and to cook our own food. Everything we do is connected to energy in one way or the other. The demand for energy is ever increasing, but we seem to be wasting it needlessly. We can turn things around if we pay some serious attention to our energy consumption patterns. Energy conservation does not involve just you and me. It is a national endeavor.
Energy conservation efforts have to begin from the household level, as the design and construction of our house will have an impact on the amount of energy we consume. We need to be conscious of following best practices which will yield enormous benefits to us in the long run.
One of the major problem the human face now is the energy crisis, which is basically one of the indicator of energy crisis is your electricity bill. So therefore, when you look at the whole concept that this energy crisis thing and also electricity bill, which is linked to your lifestyle and also the economy of the economic pattern of a country. So therefore, the way you have to control energy is linked to a change of lifestyle. So when you look at the lifestyle basically, now conventionally we had the practice like even the jobs we do like agriculture or maybe other industries that you had the outdoor activity and then you don't need artificial lighting to do that. But now you do most of our jobs are basically in-house jobs. So therefore you stay in your house which is again indoor as well as you do your job in an office which is also indoor. Therefore more than 80% of our time usually is spent indoor. So therefore when you have indoor environment, of course then we have to have artificial means of getting the required level of services like lighting or ventilation, meaning that we have to have more energy consumption to those.
When drawing up a plan to build a new home, would you design your home in a way in which it will minimize the use of energy and maximize energy efficiency, or would you rather make your home look appealing? If you are going to build a home anytime soon, don't fail to give this some thought.
If you are thinking of building a new home, the first thing you may want to do is seek out the services of a qualified architect and draw up a plan. Make sure that your house plan incorporates energy-saving features, as it will help you save a lot of money on electricity. The placement and orientation of doors and windows are also important factors in creating a comfortable living environment. Placing east-facing windows allows morning sunlight to enter directly into the building and warm the air within. The same process happens during the evenings through west-facing windows. A building receives natural light from the east in the morning and from the west in the evening. Placing more windows facing the north and south will provide additional light and cross-ventilation, which will help cool the house. Planting trees next to windows will ensure a cool breeze into your house.
So once you have a live indoor, so there are certain services you need to have a comfortable life. There are two main things. One is you need fresh air. So that's one area. The one is to work, we need the lighting, the certain level of lighting. So now when we live inside or indoor, then we have to attain both in a way where we need energy. So that's why the electricity bill come issue that we have to generate fresh air or the comfortable air as well as required level of lighting. So in both cases, when you look at example as one of the example is say the ventilation thing, that we need fresh air, for which now we are using, for example, the fans, for example, like ceiling fans or these pedestal or table fans, one area, or we are even going for this air conditioners. So both cases, what we are expecting is to have a quality, comfortable environment. Unfortunately, to have these two, we need basically energy. So that's why this contribute to the energy, energy bill in the built environment, in even a house or office. But then we have options for that basically, because we can design the building or the house that you can have natural ventilation through which we can reduce the requirement of this artificial, energy driven ventilation. That's one area. Second, when you look at lighting, the same way. The presently what we have is basically like sometimes we are using very close environment that the artificial lighting is a must, and in addition sometimes the type of color we use to paint your building, sometimes we use dark colors, that there will be less light level, then we need more energy to lighten that type of space. But when you look at the old, our conventional, the built environment, there are some natural ways we have achieved it. One thing is we can use the design, basically the location of your, the doors, windows, and so on, and those type of devices can be used to enhance the lighting level. And one example is like in older, houses, we use this glass, tile, the roof tile. That during the daytime we are getting enough light that the necessity of using a bulb will not arise. So therefore, even in modern building, we have what we call this green building concept, that we can adopt those conventional techniques, not the same way, but in improved way, that the requirement of artificial lighting or ventilation will not arise. So that's what we call green building. And the today's world, that the trend is that to go for that type of design from the starting. Like when you design the building itself, we had to discuss with the architect and then come up with this type of energy efficient concepts that the energy requirement to maintain a building for the next 20-30 years will be minimized. So another aspect in which we can reduce the energy demand for building is selection of appropriate material. For example, in older days, like conventional system, we have used certain type of like the single ulu, means the single these wall tiles, that we can reduce the energy requirement inside the house, and also like block gulls, that type of mud based natural based elements, even woody systems, the building material can be used to enhance the building performances, through which again we can reduce the energy consumption in a building. So those type of interventions has to be adopted to reduce the lifetime energy consumption of a building.
Rising global temperatures have led us to use various devices to cool our surroundings. Electric fans and air conditioners are in frequent use today, but many of us do not know how to use them efficiently and save up on our electricity bills. Here are some important points to keep in mind. According to energy-saving experts, The best temperature setting for your air conditioning unit is 26 degrees centigrade. Every degree you lower the temperature increases electricity consumption of the unit by 4%. The efficiency of an air conditioning system can be maximized by the planting of trees or shrubs outside air-conditioned rooms, which will prevent sunlight from directly entering the rooms. Doors and windows in air-conditioned areas must be kept firmly closed to prevent air seepage. Avoid keeping objects close to the air conditioning unit, which might disrupt the airflow, and avoid using heat-generating devices in an air-conditioned environment. There are several types of electric fans available in the market and many brands to choose from. Be aware that the electric units consumed by each of these product types vary. Ceiling fans consume twice as much of electricity than other types of fans. Therefore, it is more suitable to fix wall fans in smaller flow areas such as bedrooms. Also, when purchasing any type of fan, it is advisable to pay attention to the wind speed and how many watts are required to power it. Choose an electric fan with a dimmer switch, as it will increase energy efficiency.
The colors and decorations that we choose to adorn our homes will of course differ according to our individual tastes and preferences. Properly planning the interior design of your house will bring you significant energy savings, and this conservation will also benefit the country.
Lighting accounts for around 30 to 40% of a typical household's energy bill. If this consumption pattern is to be reduced, homeowners need to turn towards natural lighting solutions to light up their living spaces for most part of the day. Light and brightly colored walls and ceilings are more reflective, which helps maximize the effect created by natural and electric lighting, and will bring you cost savings. Choosing the right window curtains will also help make a difference. On the other hand, varnished ceilings and paneling will absorb light and make a room dark.
Lighting is one of the major energy consuming or energy service requirement, the lighting. And again, for control the electricity bill, we can control lighting basically. There are two aspects of the approaches we can use to control lighting. One is the way you, the use of lighting. Secondly, the technology. So when you look at the way you use lighting, appliances, that most of the time, sometimes you use the light unnecessarily and in inappropriate way. Like sometimes when we have, for example, when we use lighting for a task, like for example, to study, that you need the light only on top of the the table or the book. But then usually what we do is we light the whole room, and so there's a waste of energy. So if you can go for a task light, then the energy consumption for that type of light is minimal, that you can reduce the lighting requirement. So therefore, the way you place your light and the way you operate the light is one of the more major aspects through which we can conserve energy.
Our monthly electricity bill can almost always send us reeling with shock, and we come up with various strategies to reduce the number of units that we consume. However, the following month, the cycle repeats itself when the electricity bill arrives. So, what can we do to reduce our electricity bill?
Normal light bulbs, also known as incandescent light bulbs, consume 5 times more electricity than tube lights and CFL bulbs. Although more expensive, LED bulbs have a lifespan 7 times higher than CFL bulbs. However, remember that when purchasing a bulb, there's more to look out for than just the price. An Energy Star rating introduced by the Sri Lanka Standards Institute and the Sustainable Energy Authority, will tell you how energy efficient a CFL bulb is. More stars mean higher efficiency. Look out for this label when you make your next purchase.
It is used like a cupboard to store various food items like dry fish and dry rations that don't often require refrigeration. Sometimes we load our fridge with so much items that it can cost us dearly, as much as maybe even half of our electricity bill. You can reduce the cost of running your refrigerator simply by the way you use it.
In a typical household, the major energy consuming device is the refrigerator, the fridge. And so more than 50% of our electricity bill can contribute to your electricity bill, electricity consumption. So therefore, one of the major interventions required to reduce the electricity consumption is to tackle this refrigerator. So in fact, when you look at this refrigerator, the use of refrigerator is now, when you look at the present in lifestyle, we can see it's misuse basically, and people are using the refrigerator very unnecessarily. One is to put certain items which are not necessary for cooling. Secondly, the way you operate the system. So when you look at the type of items to be replaced to be placed in a refrigerator, one aspect is basically that today's life, basically most of these items we are going to use for our consumption we can bought from supermarkets, and we can find supermarkets everywhere now. So therefore, on the way to your home, after your office hours, you can buy the required thing, and you don't need the refrigerator in that way. But of course, you can't have 100% replacement. So therefore, we have to be very careful of using a refrigerator that put only the required amount. Secondly, most of the time we are not selecting the appropriate refrigerator tool, like because when you have a small family, that's the most case. We have 4 or 5 people in the family maximum, that we can have a one-door refrigerator that's sufficient for that type of family. But we tend to buy a larger refrigerator, maybe 2 doors or 3 doors. When you have a higher number of doors, definitely your energy consumption can multiply like 2 times or 3 times. So therefore, select the appropriate size of the refrigerator and use the appropriate items there. And thirdly, when we put the items there also, we have to put in a particular way that there are enough space in between, and also not all crowded. So when you have all crowded systems, then the cooling effect is low, and also your efficiency will go down. So therefore, we have to be very careful in selecting the refrigerator and as well as placing the items there. So that's one area. Secondly, there's another aspect that when you have put more things in the refrigerator, then the chance of opening the refrigerator become higher, because we have to get more things out there. So once you open the door, then all the fresh or the cool air inside the refrigerator will go out. So once you close it, then the machine will operate to again bring back the required temperature. So therefore, once you open or close, then there's a reduction in the the efficiency, and there will be more energy consumption. So therefore, we have to be very careful by selecting as well as operating the refrigerator, which is the major energy consuming device in your home.
Refrigerators in most households contain unnecessary utensils, water bottles and items that do not require cooling. The presence of these items in your refrigerator can add anything between 500 to 750 rupees to your monthly electricity bill.
In the case of washing machine, energy consumption differs. When you buy the washing machine, look at the name tag and see how much the wattage of these 2 types, and then go for a low wattage type. Usually in the same capacity, the front loading will have a low energy consumption compared to the top loading one.
There are 2 types of washing machines in the market: front-loading washing machines, and top-loading washing machines. Almost all front-loading washing machines in the market are high in energy efficiency. However, they require around 1,500 watts to operate. As one washing cycle will consume around 2 electric units, it is important to load as many clothes within the recommended load capacity. Overloading a washing machine will result in a poor quality wash and may damage the motor. Using the clothes dryer function will take up around 500 watts of electricity per cycle. Therefore, whenever possible, dry your clothes out in the sun and make a saving on your electricity bill. Using clothes hangers to dry your clothes and later for storage will prevent your clothes from getting wrinkled and require ironing. You will be able to save electricity as well as the time you put in for ironing.
It is used to keep our clothes neat and tidy. Yes, we all have an iron that we cannot do without. Gone are the times where charcoal irons were a commonplace and barely costed us anything. Owing to its ease of use, electric irons today have replaced charcoal irons in our households.
In case of iron, again the technology, there are different options basically, and there are three basic types of iron. The conventional iron, then we have another systems which have the water spray in it, and then thirdly we also have the what you call steam iron. So typically when you look at energy requirement, the conventional irons will need low energy, then steam iron will need high energy, but it means power rating. But then when you look at the ironing efficiency, usually the steam iron will have higher efficiency than the conventional iron. So therefore, if you have a larger number of cloth, it is more, I think, energy efficient to use the steam iron. The use of conventional iron is not appropriate for that case. But on the other hand, if you have few clothes to be prepared, then going for a conventional iron is maybe better. But then we have to be mindful again that the efficiency as well as the time you spend for ironing will determine the type of machines we have to use. Further, you can, when you are doing the ironing also, you can use a aluminum foil under the the cloth, that when you iron it, then the both sides of the cloth will get ironed, so that there is no need to turn over and doing a second ironing. So therefore, that way we can reduce the time of ironing, and thereby there will be reduction of the energy consumption for ironing.
We have become accustomed to using various household devices to make our lives easier, most of which are powered by electricity. Therefore, it is important that we find ways to conserve energy so that we can use it efficiently when needed.
Another energy consuming device in a household is the television. In fact, during the night, for example, from 6:30 to 9:30 type of period, more than 30% of our electricity bill will come from the TV. And there are also, like the other cases, the way you operate TV is always questionable, meaning that you lose a lot of energy with unnecessary usage of TV. One simple example is that when you switch on the TV, whether you look at the TV or not, it operates till you switch off during the final minute of the day. So that's one thing that always we have to make sure that if you don't watch the TV, make sure that we switch off. Secondly, the way you switch off also, usually use the remote control, that you put it the TV to a standby mode, and sometime in that mode till the next day we operate more than 12 hours or maybe 15 hours you have that mode. But you have to remember that when you have this standby mode, the energy consumption is not zero. It may have 20 to 20 watt consumption during that period. So therefore, it's very important that when you don't use the TV, make sure that through the main switch for the TV, in the TV you have to switch off rather than going for the standby mode. If it's a very few minutes type of thing, it's okay. But for a longer period, we have to switch off from the switch itself. Secondly, when you look at this the item again, the TV, now there are new technologies coming up there, especially like LCD and LED TV are there, which consume more than less than 40% or 30% of the consumption for conventional TV. So therefore, going for a new TV with these new technologies also very important, because TV is another major energy consuming device in the household. So therefore, unnecessary use of TV as well as user appropriate technology is an important aspect to control energy consumption in the households.
On today's episode, we took a look at how to use energy in our households in an efficient manner. We hope that the information and pointers we've given out today will guide you in your usage and purchase of electrical items. Remember, the slightest effort that you make will not only make a difference in your life, but benefit the country as a whole. Thanks for watching this episode of Mihi Mandala. Until next time.